What up, Fire fans? Gabe Ramirez here, hanging out with you guys as we continue our poster series throughout the season, and we have our latest artist hanging out with us today. We got my man Clue in the building. How you feeling?
I'm good. How are you, man?
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. I'm excited because I got this really dope poster right in front of me, and I'm really looking forward to talking to you guys about it. So, first and foremost, right? I see this poster. I see it on screen. You see two characters. I need you to describe them in detail for me. Obviously got the iconic faceless Clue image, but then the LAFC. He looked kind of vicious over here. Talk to me about what you were thinking when you put these two together.
When I first got approached to do it, I always look at like the mascots. I know the Chicago Fire has the, what's it called? Sparky. Yeah. So I was like, let me put like a twist to it and like put my character instead. So that's how I approached like the Chicago Fire character. I'm from Chicago, so I was like, all right, let me put myself in there. So yeah, Chicago Fire is presented like through my character, and then the LAFC, they're I don't think they have a mascot, but they have like a, what is it, like a falcon?
Okay.
Like type of tradition that they usually do.
Yeah.
So their player, I made it like a falcon. So that's like a little bit behind like the story behind the two characters.
Yeah, it's cool because your work is really like graffiti driven, right? Street art. So you see it come through in the poster, but you mentioned your faceless character. How did that come about, right? I understand Clue, you said you didn't want to leave clues for people to find out that but how do you come up with that image, right? That seems like a tough task to do.
So the way I got like my name Clue, like you said, I through art, I first started like with graffiti. I was like writing, tagging and all that first, and I had a couple like different names, and me and my friend like got caught up in like some drama, and he was like yo, like we gotta change our names right now. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Like, we're kids, so we thought everything was a problem. So he's like, you go by Clue and I go by so and so. I'm like, oh, why Clue? He's like, oh, like when you're out like tagging or bombing, you don't want to leave a clue behind. I was like, oh, that's dope. So I was doing graffiti for a while, and then I got introduced to the art that I'm doing now through one of my mentors. And he had a character, and like just the whole like you said, the street art scene, there's like a bunch of characters. So I was just seeing like them tell their stories through character art. I want to do that too. Yeah. And that's how I developed my character, and I wanted to keep it authentic to like my graffiti roots. Everybody knew me by like Clue with a question mark, like my tag. So like, all right, let me make the eyes the question marks.
That's
so
dope.
That's how I came up with my character.
Leaves a lot to the imagination,
yeah,
right? About what's gonna happen next in a lot of situations. Now, your roots, you mentioned them a second ago. You grew up in Little Village, right? Southside 18th Street. Talk to me about how Pilsen, La Villita, like that whole area, has influenced your work.
Yeah, I mean, the whole reason why I developed like a character was, like I said, is like to tell my stories. I feel like growing up in Little Village, a lot of people go through a lot of like hardships or whatever, unfortunately. But there's more to it. So I wanted to obviously tell stories, whether they're sad or happy, or just like, tell stories from like community members, but like, bring a twist to it. So I'm doing it through art. And while a lot of people say like, oh, your art is like a little sad or like a little down, but like the colors are like bright. So that's how I try to like, liven things up a little bit with the colors. So that's like my like background with Little Village. I'm born and raised there. I'm still there. And then Pilsen, I went to school in Pilsen, like high school. And I think that's when like the opportunities like opened up.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, because obviously being from the area, and from Chicago, a lot of people are always asking about Taco Rex. So, favorite taco spot in that area, like to go. And I'm not talking about the 2 a.m. after the spot. I'm talking about like when you go on a regular day that you go the most. What is it?
Honestly, like a street vendor, man.
Okay.
Like a street vendor. There used to be a lot of street vendors. You can go down 26th Street, street vendor.
Get the Diaz that's right there.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're looking like for a spot, I'd say like Atontonilco or like El Milagro.
The original ones.
Yeah, the OGs.
It's crazy how El Milagro, the actual tacos themselves, right, the tortillas, like people come to Chicago and take those back with them wherever they go. It's a classic.
Yeah, hell
it's a classic right there.
You can't beat El Milagro.
You can't. All right. You can't beat, some of the work that you're doing. I know you've worked at museums. Obviously, you've done murals. But when the Chicago Fire approach you, right, how is that different when trying to really curate, the message that you're trying to portray?
Before doing art, I wanted to go pro with soccer, actually. So I grew up playing soccer. Position was goalie, so I wanted to go pro with like being a goalkeeper. So it's kind of like a full circle moment, because when I was like 14, my elementary school took us to a Chicago Fire match, and I think that's when I was like, yo, like this could be me one day, One day I got introduced to art, and I was like, all right, I want to do art. So it's kind of like, a full circle moment too. So that's
being able to put it all together.
Yeah.
That's dope. And you said your first match was at SeatGeek Stadium, right?
Yeah, SeatGeek.
How fitting is that's going to happen? All right, talk to me about this, Clue. When a fan, or anyone for that matter, walks by this poster, what do you want the big takeaway to be for them?
I'm big on experiences, the match experience. Like hopefully they could take it with them, and it's like a certain memory happened to them. So like when they look to the poster, they're like, all right, that's where so and so happened. So
Yeah.
I think just the overall experience.
Yeah,
Like,
they look like they're going at it right here.
Yeah,
Like they're going
exactly.
after a ball. You can kind of see some bumps and bruises on their body right there. You see those iconic comic caricatures that are right there. But two things stood out to me when I see this poster right here, and I need you to explain it to me before we go any further. All right, first is the chain right here. The seems like it's kind of stands out, and then this hole on the bottom. I'm curious. Those two things right there. What are those?
The chain, I think, again, since like Sparky, it's kind of like a dog, so kind of like breaking loose from like the chains that like typically hold like dogs back or whatever. So like, all right, I'm loose now. Like I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Going at it, playing the game, the match, and then the hole. It was kind of wanting to go for more of like that shadow, like a kind of like casting the shadow from like the foot that is going or the ball.
Right,
yeah.
okay.
So that's like the hole right there.
I love that. That was like another dimension, another portal we were gonna be going to.
I mean, it's up for people's imagination. So
that's what you say. You gotta go by it. You gotta pick it up, and then that way kind of interpret it for yourself. Well, Clue, I appreciate you, man. I mean, what you did right here for this poster in our series really means a lot to us, especially because you're from the city of Chicago. So that's what we represent. And of course, like always, I gotta make you do it. You want to hit them with a Vamos Fire?
Let's do it, man. Hell yeah, appreciate y'all. Vamos fire.
Let's go.